July 15th of 2016, the whole world was introduced to Stranger Things. But me? I was introduced to high school. I know, crazy, right? Nonetheless though, down the line I found Stranger Things, and ever since then I've been hooked on everything it got to offer. Down to characters, story, cinematography, score, and the 80s setting it takes place in. And I'm guessing I can say the same for you guys, considering I held a vote on Instagram between Stranger Things Season 4 and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you guys wanted Stranger Things. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Stranger Things. I needed a mega recap before I started season 4, and if that's you, then you're looking in the wrong place, bud. I know I usually go through an entire series when making these videos, but for time's sake, I just want to focus on season 4. So, spoiler alert, season 4 starts off with a hook that grabs you by your neck and doesn't let go until the opening. Bodies after bodies after bodies just laid out, covering straight blood. I mean, it's almost like something out of a horror movie. But let me stop acting brand new. We all know Stranger Things does a better job at being a horror flick than most horror movies who own the genre. Sorry, it just had to be said. The first episode does a solid job at putting us in different characters' point of view and showing the challenges our main characters are faced with as they're adapting to change. Lucas is tired of being known as a nerd and wants to be popular, hence joining the basketball team even though he rides the bench. And not to mention, he wants his friends Mike and Dustin to feel the same way too, but Mike and Dustin are kind of like, nah bro, Hellfire Club for life. Or what Mike's dad would call it, the high school dropout club. So Mike and Dustin are juggling between Lucas and their new groups along with their long distance relationships. Speaking of long distance relationships, now where can I find a girl that will talk about me like this behind my back? Anyways, Max is dealing with a pickle as she's still recovering from the events that happened in season 3. Along with the breakup with Lucas. Yeah, it's starting to look like relationship issues across the board. I mean, Joyce got it worse. By this time, she still thinks Hop is dead until she doesn't, thanks to the Russians. But out of all the characters, I really sympathize with Will and Elle. They moved to California away from everything they grew up knowing and everybody they love. Elle, who is still trying to recover from Hop's death, is trying to get comfortable being at this new school with new faces, but they make it ridiculously hard. Instead, she's met with an emotional ride of feelings as they bully her, and she can't do nothing about it as her powers are still not present yet. Will, on the other hand, watches defenseless as they continue to bully Elle, and like it would do to all good friends, it breaks his heart. And it should have broken yours too. We've all been in Elle's place, one way or another. It's not such a happy experience. With all that being said, we're introduced to season 4 villain through a cheerleader named Chrissy. And let me tell you that this felt so familiar to watching season 2 of Attack on Titan the first time and being introduced to the Beast Titan. They both talk and they're both scary. Very, very scary. But that's just episode 1. We still got 6 more mini movies to go, so grab your popcorn, sit tight, and enjoy. So things are starting to pick up more and more revelations are given to us, but with all that's being given, they still contain that mystery box. That's always been one of Stranger Things' greatest asset that drives the story and keeps the viewers like us hooked. Okay, so mystery box, what is it? D.J. Abrams does a TED talk where he talks about the idea of a mystery box in storytelling. The mystery box in summary is the big reveal, in other words, the surprise. Okay, but how do you implement the mystery box in storytelling and have it make sense? By withholding information from the viewer but yet keeping them engaged by building on smaller reveals that lead credence to the idea that one big mystery does have an answer. I'll talk more about that in my Attack on Titan video that's coming up, which was supposed to drop before this video, but now it's not. Anyways, stay tuned for the Attack on Titan video. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So we got the mystery. His name is Victor Creel. Now what's in the box? Well, we're gonna find out, but if I was to take an educated guess, I would say it could be the entire truth behind this season's villain. I mean, think about it. We don't know everything. Only what was given to us, which was Victor Creel was insane and he had an act for murdering people in the worst ways imaginable. Poor Fred. Due to horrifying events taking place at Eddie's trailer, the gang is kinda sorta getting back together. I mean, we're still missing Elle and oh yeah, there they go. Oh, and Hopper's alive. Okay, waste of tears, but I'm glad he's alive and captured by the Russians. Joyce and Murray seem to be prepared to get him back. Interesting subplot. Let's hope it stays that way. Anyways, I love how this series makes Elle's separate story as entertaining as the main one that's going on. She's trying to avoid embarrassment. Instead, embarrassment finds her in front of not only the whole skating ring, but her boyfriend. But how does Elle retaliate? In the worst way possible. Don't get me wrong, she definitely deserved it, and I'm definitely on Elle's side. But now I'm worried that this experience shows to be past trauma rising to the surface, and now history is tending to repeat itself. Meanwhile, Lucas watches as the whole basketball team gets ready to punish Eddie for committing a crime he didn't commit. Let's talk about one of my favorite ways the Duffer Brothers cinematograph some of their scenes, and that would be by pairing simultaneous events together to make one scene, where you have one thing going on and then another, but instead of focusing on just one entire scene by itself and then moving on to the next scene, they mash what feels like 2 separate scenes into one. Now, it's nothing new in film directing, but it sure can be used in the worst way. Not knowing what scenes needs to stand alone can ruin a great one. By taking away the focus on one scene by jumping back and forth between another lackluster one makes the scene that could have been great fall short, but Stranger Things doesn't make that mistake. Scenes like Mike and them playing Dungeons and Dragons meshed with the basketball game, and then Dustin summarizing the events that happened so far to Eddie as Fred meets his demise to Creel makes sense on why they're paired together. They don't take away from each other, they add on to each other. The series been doing this since season 1. I just had to give it credit where credit was due, and in doing so, you guys learned something new. 3 episodes in and the group isn't completely together yet, and Elle still doesn't have her powers. And I gotta say, I gotta applaud the writers for coming this far without bringing Elle's powers back though. I had predictions and I thought they would use Angela to bring her powers back, but boy was I wrong. Instead, she gets arrested by the police for assaulting Angela and then is given away to some old guy who says he can bring back her powers. And yes, I definitely just called him some old guy. That wasn't no joke. I genuinely forgot his name. So this guy catches Elle up on everything that's going on in Hawkins, and now Elle heads back home with him to get her powers back, and in doing so can hopefully defeat Victor Creel, who isn't Victor Creel, but Vecna. Okay, so at this point, we don't know who this Vector guy is, or Vecna.
Who the fuck is this nigga, bro?
Is entirely, but we do know he's a demon from the Upside Down. And plot twist, he's actually the one responsible for killing Victor Creel's family.
1, 2, 3, 4, fucking with a demon walking through the door.
Guess who figures that out? This dynamic duo of ours. I know Nancy is pretty much annoyed by Robin, but I like this duo. We didn't see much or any of it really in the last season, and now we get to see it, and I think it's pretty hilarious. Yeah, Robin can be real annoying at times, but Luke has been annoying so far this season and nobody's talking about him. Yes, I was personally annoyed with Lucas this far into the season, but it's okay because he makes up for it by ditching his group. I mean, so much is happening at once and things are coming together like a puzzle piece, and I love it. Episodes 4 to 6 turns it up another notch. Remember how I talked about the mystery box and Victor Creel's past being a secret in a mystery box? Well, since Victor's now a victim, it's Vecna whose past is the big secret. How can Vecna exist 30 years before the Upside Down was made? Why is Victor Creel the only one to survive his curses? And even if the Upside Down has been around for centuries, a gate didn't exist in the 50s, so how did he get through? One of, if not the most thrilling mystery boxes this entire series has to offer by far. Overall, I want to talk about episodes 4 to 6 while not sacrificing any time, but we gotta sacrifice some time to talk about this scene. I have been saying that Hopper is the Batman of Stranger Things since season 1. He's mentally and physically tough, shows tough love, and finds a way to win even when the odds are being stacked against him 1,000 to 1. This scene earns its applause when Hopper escapes because from episodes 1 to 4, they were building on it. Hopper is constantly beaten and beaten, bossed around by Russian guards, and cursed at while he defensively obeys every order until it's time for him to go. And now he can finally do something about it, and he does, which I gave a standing ovation to. Even the prisoners were cheering for him. Yeah, crazy American. All jokes aside, episode 4 is without a doubt the peak of Stranger Things. I'd come as far as to say it's the best thing in the entire series. Not only do we get Hopper's crazy escape, but we also get a whole lot of suspense, action, twists and turns, and surprises along with a lot of emotion that cuts deeper than any blade. I almost forgot I was still on episode 4 because so much was going on. And although so much was happening, this episode, it did not feel rushed whatsoever. Seeing Max fight with depression and overcoming the urge to give in right here truly spoke to me, and I hope it spoke to anyone out there dealing with depression. And I could go on and on about how great this episode serves its viewers, and I'd be lying if I said this was the last episode I would have you on the edge of your seat, crying, cheering, and on the brink of a heart attack, all while appreciating the musical choices used in the episode. I love Stranger Things. We know that. But in an hour, 17 minutes, and 30 seconds, I remembered why. With episode 4 ending in a bittersweet yet hopeful manner, episode 5 opens chaotically. For what it's worth, I think this whole episode is chaotic, but that's not what makes this episode shine. Episode 5 gives our characters their moment. Some have it with others and others have it alone. We get character moments between Steve and Nancy, Lucas and Max, Mike and Will, Hopper, Elle, and so on and so forth. I have my issues with Vecna this episode. I mean, this whole season he was killing folks for a reason, but this kill just seems so random. He's all about ending your suffering. But that guy, what was he even suffering from? And I'm not gonna lie, I don't care about the basketball team hunting Eddie. I came to see Eleven get her powers back, which she does, maybe.
You didn't think it would be that easy.
And see Dustin and the rest of our fellow heroes catch Vecna lacking. Don't worry, we get that, along with an awesome quote from Hopper.
I wasn't cursed. I am the curse.
Can we also appreciate Dustin and the group using the lights to try to find a gate to the Upside Down? They also refer to the whole using lights to communicate with the Upside Down thing when Nancy, Ed, Steve, and Robin Morse code their conversation with Lucas and Dustin. A little callback to season 1 when Joyce used Christmas lights to communicate with Will, who was also in the Upside Down at the time. There were many other scenes where lights played a part in helping our characters wrestle with the Upside Down, and I just thought that was a good attention to continuity from the directors. Episode 6 we get even more revelation and the plot is really starting to thicken. Now our main characters have more to worry about other than Vecna, and that's the entire town of Hawkins. I really think Hawkins turning on the very people that saved them is crazy. It also leaves the Duffer Brothers with a whole lot of wrap up this season, and boy they do. We see more and more of Elle's past, which feels familiar to what we see at school in the skating ring. Like I said earlier, it was exactly this experience right here that showed to be the past trauma that is rising to the surface in the present, allowing history to repeat itself. Well, almost. We seen it with Angela at her new school. Only thing we were missing was Elle slaughtering everybody in the skating ring, because in her history, that's what happens next. Number 2, similar to Angela and her friends, bullies and pushes around Elle, causing number 2, similar to Angela, to get in trouble. Now Elle is looked at as a snitch, which makes number 2 once again similar to Angela possibly react. Well, we're told by Peter he's supposed to react and kill Elle, but what happens next turns out to be not one of but the biggest plot twist in Stranger Things, and one I'd say. That's all folks. I'm not even gonna say anything else because I bet you there are people watching this right now who have been wanting to get into the series but needed that sign. Well, here it is. Go watch Stranger Things, all 4 seasons. Yeah, I may have dropped major spoilers here and there, but I doubt you remember, and besides, my videos don't even go into that much detail. Just go watch it. Season 4, Volume 2 drops on July 1st, so you got time. Well, by the time you're seeing this video, you might have little to no time left, but still go watch it. Oh, and before you leave, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. The love you show to this video will let me know whether you guys want me to continue with Stranger Things when Volume 2 drops next month or not. Now go. Are you still here?
Story.